Speaking of Fashion Week, how many Fashion Weeks do you know? Well, most of the people might know Paris, London, Milan, and also New York Fashion Week, because these 4 fashion weeks are the most important and famous ones in the fashion industry. However, around the world in different cities, there are also fashion weeks taking place. For instance, I'm now in Germany and there is Berlin Fashion Week taking place twice per year. And because Berlin Fashion Week just took place last week, I would definitely want to leverage this chance to guide you guys through the Fashion Week and also highlight some interesting activities and also content within the Fashion Week. Let's check it out. Hi everyone, welcome to Fashion Brief. Before I dig into Berlin Fashion Week, I would like to provide some background information. Berlin Fashion Week, also called as Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, because Mercedes-Benz is the main sponsor of this fashion week. And this fashion week can be dated back to 2007. And from 2011, Berlin Fashion Week has been always held in front of Brandenburger Tor, which is one of the most famous tourist attractions in Berlin. Actually, in 2015, when I was still doing my exchange semester in Berlin during my bachelor's degree, I got the chance to go to a fashion show during Berlin Fashion Week. I was so excited because the venue is amazing, everything is new to me, and it was my first fashion show. And it was a fashion show of SCHNEEWITTCHEN University. It is one of the most famous university in Taipei for fashion design. And that's the reason why there is some connection between me and Berlin Fashion Week, because I've been to that fashion week before. And so, however, due to the pandemic, none of the fashion shows are taking place physically. And that's also what I've mentioned from the previous episode, the shift to digital. Namely, the fashion shows are taking place online. And so this year for Berlin Fashion Week, there's no exception. From last week, 18th of January to the 20th, they went everything online. Namely, they live stream every activities via YouTube. And the actual venue of Berlin Fashion Week is in Kraftwerk, a really industrial building in the middle of Berlin. In total, there are 66 designers attended Berlin Fashion Week this year, and they are all coming from different kinds of fashion initiatives in Germany. The Berliner Salon, Fashion Open Studio, and Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week. The Berliner Salon is founded by 2 founders, Christiane Arp and Markus Kurz. Christiane Arp is the former editor-in-chief of Vogue Germany, while Markus Kurz is the founder of Nowadays. It's a concepting agency for film, events, and also fashion shows. The aim of the fashion initiative is to provide a platform for German designers to showcase their design either for garments and also accessories. And while the Berliner Salon has been quiet for a while, by the support of City Berlin, the Berliner Salon joined force to the Fashion Week this year. While Fashion Open Studio is a showcasing initiative under Fashion Revolution and is launched in 2017. Before this year, they actually always have their own Fashion Week. It's a week of presentation, talk, workshops with different topics such as emerging designers, and also they focus a lot of background stories of a brand. And lastly, Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week. I would say the designers within this category are more internationally recognized and famous. And maybe that's also the reason why they're sponsored by Mercedes-Benz. After knowing the structure and also fashion initiatives of Berlin Fashion Week, you might wonder, how does Berlin Fashion Week look like? And also, what kind of vibe does it convey? Well, I have to say, every fashion week has strong connection to the city itself. And so for the characteristic of Berlin Fashion Week, it's filled with creativity, individuality, diversity, coolness, hipster, and also a little bit darkness. At the very beginning of Berlin Fashion Week, a screening live video session is planned. and it's like a sneak peek of the whole fashion show. There you can see what kind of design and also designers you will expect from this fashion show, and also the vibe. It's exactly the vibe what I described before for this fashion week. So what exactly you can expect from this fashion week? Of course, there are a lot of fashion shows and also interviews between different designers, and because this year is a digital-only fashion week, a lot of fashion storytelling videos are included, and also, of course, outdoor exhibition on the wall around Kraftwerk. And while I was seeing different fashion shows in this Berlin Fashion Week, I realized that the designers leverage a lot of elements from current situation, the lockdown, COVID, pandemic, new normal to us. For example, the facial mask and also hamster shopping, social distancing. You can see a lot of this in this fashion week. Next, the most important part, I will point out 3 highlights of Berlin Fashion Week. Firstly, digital experience. As I've mentioned before, all of the fashion shows and also interviews are live streamed by YouTube. Of course, you can also see those videos afterwards via the platform. But during the fashion show or during the live streaming, it's very important to attract or to retain their attentions on the screen. Therefore, providing a unique digital experience is very important for virtual fashion week. For instance, this time there were no celebrities or influencers walking on the street, and therefore there wouldn't be any street styles photographies. Alternatively, a photographer called SCHNEEWITTCHEN made a FaceTime session with different influencers, recording their home style via FaceTime. And because these photos are made by FaceTime, different photos have different resolutions, which showcase an authentic feeling. Well, from another perspective, augmented reality and virtual reality are 2 important approaches to enhance the experience. While this time, Berlin Fashion Week showcased a fashion show via VR, and the brand is not just a label by Tom van der BORGHT. I would say this 360 VR experience is definitely the future of fashion show. Tom is a designer based in Ghent, Belgium. And for me personally, I think his design is really cool because it combines with different elements from recycled materials to different fabrics. It's a mix and match. And as he always mentioned, less is more is not his motto. More is more is what he wants. The second highlight, I would say, it's content. Because it's a digital-only fashion week, a good storytelling technique is very important. And a good story will definitely bring life to the live streaming session or also videos. While I was browsing different kinds of brand stories in Berlin Fashion Week, I realized that they were all curated in a really creative way. For instance, nowadays we can't actually leave our smartphones. Not because we're super addicted to them, but because we are using them to record our daily lives. And so some brands actually took the inspiration by using the smartphone to record or to curate the brand's story. And the initiative's name is called A Day Through My Phone. Personally, I think it's a super creative idea and also really authentic, because you can see in a form of nearly like a diary, the brand story is presented to you in the most natural way. And also, I would like to mention the fashion videos made by ACHTUNG magazine. They were interpreted in a cool and artistic way. Through the video, you can actually really feel the Berlin vibe I mentioned. Last but not least, the last highlight, sustainability. Although Berlin Fashion Week is not famous for sustainability, sustainability is more famous for Copenhagen Fashion Week actually. But This concept has been mentioned throughout the Fashion Week, either for brand stories or interviews. As the slogan of Fashion Open Studio goes, reconsidering the role of fashion industry. And so most of the sustainability interviews are arranged by them. Also, there are plenty of brands in Berlin Fashion Week are using upcycled materials. And so what does upcycling mean? It's actually a really easy concept, namely using old product to make them modified and then give them a new life, turning into a new product. And so there's a brand from Fashion Open Studio called EMEKA. This is a brand I really like, not only because of its design, but because of its background story of the project. And so this brand is founded in 2018 by the creative director called EMEKA. He's from Nigeria. Well, the aim of the project or the brand is to help and sustain African communities. All the suit materials come from upcycled materials in Africa. And also the suits are made locally. And so for consumers, not only the appearance, but also upon buying the suits from EMEKA is to show support of African workers. Just a small teaser for the next episode, I will focus more on sustainability and fashion. So stay tuned. So that's it for today, the episode of Berlin Fashion Week. Hopefully you like it, subscribe my channel, like this video, and also leave a comment below whether you want to know more about German fashion or German brands. And there is fashion in Germany, by the way. See you soon.